Barakatah Yahweh Shah. Now, you got many people saying that they are pretty much uh, proclaiming that Esau is from Japhet. And we know that the Bible gives answers to all these questions. So let's quickly go through these precepts and see how Esau looks. What was the features on Esau, so we can identify who these individuals is today. Now, let's go to Genesis 25:25. Genesis 25:25 reads, well, you know what? Let's go to 23 to give an understanding. It says, Genesis 25:23, and the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, two nations, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. Two nations, two manner of people. Two nations, two manner of people. Verse 25 says, and the first came out red, all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And 26, after that, his brother came out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. Okay, so they didn't name Jacob's color or his hair. Okay, so you get to Genesis 27. Get to Genesis 27, and this is going to be the identifying mark. 27, starting at verse 11. It said, and Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. Now, in verse 9, she told him to go out and fetch two kids of goats, or two goats. And so when you get to verse 16, it says that Rebekah put skins of the goat, of the kids of goat, upon his hands, meaning upon Jacob's hand, and upon the smooth of his neck. So put it around his neck and put it on his hand. These goat skins, meaning the hair of the goat. And so when you go down to 22, it says, and Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him, and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. 23, and he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy, and his brother Esau's hands, Salakia. It says, because his hands was hairy as his brother Esau's hand, so he blessed him. So through this hair, this goat hair, is how how Jacob supplanted Esau and got the blessing. And through this goat hair is how we gonna identify Esau. Because when you go to Jeremiah, it clearly gives an identification of the nation of Israel, or Israel. Let's see, Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 6. My people have been lost sheep. Why is he using the sheep to describe the nation of Israel? In verse 17, it says, Israel is a scattered sheep. Why is the Most High using a sheep to represent the nation of Israel? Okay, I wonder why. Now, when you go in the book of Daniel, chapter 7, the book of Daniel, chapter 7, and starting at, let's see here, verse 9. Daniel, verse 9, it says, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the ancient of days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head was like pure wool. So the Most High, the Ancient of Days, had woolly sheep hair. Okay? His chosen people was described as a sheep. Now let's make this connection. Let's go to Revelations and make the connection. The Most High had woolly hair like pure wool, and he called the nation of Israel his scattered and lost sheep. We know E.S.a.u, who they ignorantly called Jesus Christ, his name was, his saying was, uh, only my sheep can hear my voice. So when you go to uh, Revelation chapter 1, verse 14, it was describing E.S.a.u, who they called Jesus. It says his head and his hairs were white like wool. Why is he describing the hair of his head to be like wool? Okay, now let's go back to Daniel and back to Daniel, and let's go to chapter 8, and we're gonna get another operation. Let's see, chapter 8. Where are we going with this chapter 8? Now, chapter 8, the Grecians was described as a goat. Why was the Grecians described as a goat? Now, Esau had goat hair too. Now, it says in verse 5, and this is in Daniel chapter 8, verse 5, it said, and as I was considering, behold, and he goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth. Okay? He's describing the Grecians as a he goat. Now in verse, let's see here, verse 21, Daniel chapter 8, verse 21, it says, and the rough goat is the king of Grecia, and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. So the first king of Grecia was was described as a goat. Now Esau had goat hair. Now let's go back to Genesis, because see, some people might be missing the point that we're trying to make. Jacob descendants were described as sheep, and we know how sheep hair is woolly. The Most High got woolly hair. E.S.a.u got woolly hair. And in verse 11 of Genesis 27, it says, and Jacob said unto Rebekah his mother, behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. Now when you go into the Hebrews, smooth can mean opposite. The opposite of a hairy man. What's the opposite of the goat hair? Opposite of the goat hair is woolly hair. So you can identify who's Esau, and you can identify who's Jacob by the hair. Now let's go to Genesis 25. No, I'm sorry, Salakia, Matthew 25. Matthew 25, verse 32. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. He shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. So the sheep are clearly the nation of Edom, who are the Grecians, and the goats, Salakia. The goats is the nation of Edom, the children of Esau. The Grecians, the so-called Europeans, the Caucasian, because their hair is like the goats. And the sheep is the nation of Israel, the woolly-haired, not Hamites, but the woolly-haired Israelites, the children of Israel. And so these Hebrews, the Negroes, he's talking about the Edomites is Japhet. These other uh, confused brothers talking about the Edomites is Japhet. You see, and Ham, Shem, and Japhet, they all were the same. You see, when these two twins came out, one came out totally different than everybody on the earth, and he was red and he had goat hair, straight hair, and so that's how this straight hair stuff got into the world, because this is the plan of the Most High. Now let's go through some of these pictures of a sheep, a goat. See, this is goat hair. This is goat hair. This is goat hair. Not woolly hair, but goat hair. Goat hair, straight like the Caucasian. See, this is goat hair. Goat hair. It was totally different than Jacob's hair. And so this is how you identify who are the goats. And it was red. So red with goat hair. Just because they came from the same mother don't mean that they was the same. In Genesis 25:23, it said that there was two manner of people. That means two different manner of people. One had woolly hair, one had goat hair. I'm going to leave it there. All praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. The kingdom is at hand. Shalom.